Hey everyone, how you doing? Thinnerpants here. Or should I say, hey everyone, Thinnerpants here, how you do? Either way, it's that time of year, y'all. The leaves are falling, the sun goes down way sooner than I needed to. We're getting together with family, friends, pets, acquaintances, co-workers, eating good food, maybe exchanging gifts, anything that wraps around the holiday finger. And yes, y'all, you're looking at the holiday finger. You like it? Sorry. But most importantly, it's Game of the Year season, meaning the season where I convince you that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is our definitive winner, but I guess we could talk about the rest of the games. We all also know that Game of the Year season is the time for peaceful discussion, where no one makes fun of each other, no one threatens one another, and everyone's having a great time in all of our various social media apps and internet forums. That's what that means, yeah? Yeah. And if you want to have that discussion in my comment section, please feel free to do so. I love hearing from my community. I'm sure you all have very amazing things to say, and I'm sure we could all get something out of each other's opinions. With that being said, here are your nominees for Game of the Year this year. Why did I get so excited? Anyway, we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, SpiderMan 2, Super Mario Wonder, Resident Evil 4 for some reason, and of course, Tears of the Kingdom, where I placed my vote. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. I have not played all of the games on this list. I know, save your booze for later, please, it gets worse. The 3 games I haven't played yet are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Spider-Man 2. I know, I'm missing out on some heat, but I have friends that I've had discussions with, and all of my various community places, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, any of those places, I've seen a lot of discussion about these games. Just take it in mind when I have this conversation. Now, before we get into what I think will win Game of the Year and what I want to win Game of the Year, 2 things, in my opinion, don't, and one of them you might agree with, but the other one you might get a little bit mad at me for. I don't agree with Resident Evil being on this list. Resident Evil 4 is a fantastic game, and its re-release meant that we were getting a re-release of one of the best games of all time. So of course, it gets nominated this year. It was a lot of fun. I played through it on the Twitch channel, follow me if you don't. And I enjoyed myself to the nth degree, even coming in as someone who's not necessarily a diehard Resident Evil fan. However, I just don't agree with the notion of having remakes be the best that we have to offer for the year. Paints a bleak picture. A lot of our gaming culture has been feeding off of the nostalgia of older products. And mind you, I'm down for a good remake. Again, this game is fantastic, but the game of the year, I'm good. I'd rather not see it, especially with the other games that came out that were absolutely fantastic that I believe should take their place. Once I state my second game, I'll let you know what I believe could fill in for both. Now, okay, y'all are gonna yell at me. Super Mario Wonder, a fantastic game. I played it on the channel. It took me a couple sessions to get through it all. Not too many hours invested. I almost have completion of that game. I'm still working on the final special org, the big trial after all the 10 coins. You know the one. If you've completed the game, you know the one. And it's a fun time. Online multiplayer is handled in a way that, while it's not preferred, is still entertaining. That being said, it does cut down the longevity of the game, because while online multiplayer exists, it exists with quotation marks and asterisks. Being able to play together but not really together does put a huge damper on the future of the game in terms of conversation. I do think this being here is a big win for development cases. No time limit given on this game, no crunch culture, all creativity, so many new added enemies and assets and new added characters. I think those are all great things for the game. I believe the game was fantastic, but for what was on offer, not Game of the Year. Let me explain. I still believe that despite all of these innovations, the design of the game is still very simplistic and a really good fun time, but I feel like there's games that pop the envelope and push a little farther into what you can do with a video game that released this year that should have taken its place. If you want me to go deeper on that, or if you want a full review on Mario Wonder, let me know. But to me, while it was a lot of fun, I do not think it was this much fun, if that makes sense. Also, another note, this video isn't scripted. I wanted to get this out quickly, so if I ramble, I'm super sorry. The 2 games I'd like to see replace this could be from a list, but off the top of my head, Lies of P was a fantastic time. One of the best Souls-likes we've ever gotten, and fed into the desire for the entire community to see Bloodborne 2. I know we all love Elden Ring, but the community's still wanting Bloodborne 2. And Lies of P gives us the closest thing to that we've ever gotten, and it's a fantastic time. A game that I have yet to beat, but a game that I am hyper invested in the success of. Should have been on this list. The next game from Software is Armored Core 6, a game I have not beaten, but a game that has so much conversation around it, a game that had such a satisfying gameplay loop, and a game that's new, that a remake of something else that we've gotten would be fantastic to see on this list. Those are my big 2. Mario Wonder, I'm not as passionate about getting off this list, but I feel like better overall products were delivered. And as much as this is a fun, very charming game, I just don't think it should be here. And to touch on this, since I actually just finished having a discussion about it, and I feel like I should bring it up, if for any reason to make some of you upset, super sorry. Final Fantasy 16 does not belong on this list. Shocker. That game was incredibly boring to play until you got to a hard mode, but that required a full playthrough. Half of that game was riddled with cutscenes. I'm sure the narrative had something to say to me, but not enough to attract me through that boring gameplay loop. I understand that late game you can build more into icons, but there's still very little build potential and gear that matters in that game. It is button mash galore until you sit through 20-minute plus cutscenes, until you sit through button mash galore. It's not that entertaining of a title. It's a slog to get through. Any of my friends that have played that game struggled to get through it. I barely got through the first 10 hours of the game. It doesn't belong here. I'm sure it's a decent title to somebody, but Game of the Year, absolutely not, and I'm happy to not see it here. Another one, honorable mention for things that don't belong on this list. Starfield. Bethesda heads will cry to you every day saying that that game is worth somebody's time. It's not. Zero potential for exploration. The best thing that I've seen come out of that game is being able to fill your spaceship with avocados and sandwiches. When it's modded, will it be the game of the year, the century, the planet, like Skyrim is to a lot of those Bethesda heads? Sure. But for now, don't care. I don't think you should either. I don't think they did either because it's not nominated here. Boom. Mic drop. I'm not including the mic drop thing. I feel so cringe for that. I'm so sorry. Now to talk about our big three. Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom. I hate to give this perspective, but if I'm being honest, and I'm being within my right mind, I do think Baldur's Gate 3 probably does win. It's not my choice, but it probably does win. I haven't played it. How do I have that perspective? I'll tell you. The impact it created online was just a massive bomb of love and support for what this game had to offer. Being able to digitize D&D in a way that is attractive to the layman or the layperson. I've heard the voice work is fantastic. The orchestral work is amazing. The ability to build into whatever, truly whatever kind of play style that you want to, the amount of options that exist in how you play and how you build your story are seemingly infinite. I understand all those things. That's fantastic. Things that have never been done into the RPG space and 100% deserves to be on this list. And if it wins, it deserves it. I can admit that. Like in my heart of hearts, I understand that Baldur's Gate 3 has maybe the strongest shot to win here. Its community will get online and vote for this game. They have everything in their favor in terms of people that enjoy a game like this. It also doesn't help that people that enjoy a game like this also probably enjoy Tears of the Kingdom, and they have to make a very difficult choice. And to my Zelda heads, stand strong, vote for what you believe is right, which is, you know, a wink. Now, why am I pushing so hard for Baldur's Gate 3 and saying that it should win? However, I'm voting for Tears of the Kingdom. Shouldn't I vote for what I think should win? No, I should vote for what I want to win, and that's my boy here. Tears of the Kingdom introduced one of the most in-depth and fun building mechanisms that we've ever had in an action adventure RPG open world. Has the biggest open world available today. I understand, in the case of open worlds, size doesn't necessarily matter. If it's an open world full of nothing, then there's no reason to care. But at least in my perspective, in my, 200 plus hours of playtime, every little bit of the exploration felt like fun to me. Making the bike that we all made to search for all, 120 shrines? No, more than that. 150 shrines. It's been a while, I'm sorry. While I did not go for all Koroks, because I'm sorry if you do that, you're an insane person. If you're going for literally every single Korok, you're an insane person. Valid, but insane. The puzzles that I did stumble upon were a lot of fun though. And the Korok seeds also helped to break the monotony that I think a lot of open world games suffer from. Every time I'm scouring the land, even in the sky, finding the little puzzles, working my brain to figure out what my new little challenge is, it was a lot of fun. And while not every single Korok puzzle is unique, some of them do require some thought. The Ultra Hand ability, I still gush over immensely. Being able to build your Mechazords, your Beyblade arenas, your bikes, your vehicles, your off-roaders. I think since it's been a while, we forget just how insane that system is, but it truly is a sandbox like no other. We got Minecraft forcefully impacted into our Zelda game with twice the amount of mobs. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Mojang, that's some bullshit, you know it. I don't want to dwell on it too long. I have a second review coming out and I already have a first review on Tears of the Kingdom. So you guys already know how much I love that game and how much you probably expected me to vote for it regardless. But at current, it's my favorite game of all time, and I think it should win. Now, Spider-Man, admittedly, I have zero investment in. I know, hate me for that take, I'm sorry, I think I'm a little asleep on it. The whole action-adventure genre in its purest form, I've never really been that into. I've heard it has skill trees, I've heard the narrative's really good, the voice work's really good, the music's really great, and the set pieces are fantastic. All those things are true, but at least compared to Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, it didn't really innovate on anything, and it's just a really, really good package and a really well put together product, which is all great, and definitely deserves the nomination. But Game of the Year, I'd like to see something more out of my game of the year, especially with behemoths like Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3 around. Who do I think will win? I don't know. There's a lot of factors in this. Baldur's Gate 3 has a much more invested online fan base, and maybe they'll come out in droves to vote for their game. Same with Tears of the Kingdom. I think those exist too. SpiderMan 3 has more of a normie crowd. I don't think they come out to GameAwards.com, make an account and vote for their game, despite them wanting it to win. But who's to say? Oh, but this has been Dinner Pits on Meat Ride Mania as to why I think Tears of the Kingdom should win Game of the Year. But what do you think should win? Genuinely, let me know in the comment section below. And if you think anything's missing off of these Game of the Year nominations, feel free to let me down below as well. I'd love to hear your perspective on it. I have a lot of bigger projects coming up, some channel updates for you. I'm so sorry that things have been inconsistent on the video, full form video front. I'm so sorry about that, but we'll talk about it soon. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, noti bell, I'm telling you to do 10 things. Most importantly, like this video and subscribe. The noti bell's cool too. Okay, take it easy. I'll see you next time. Doses. If it's not Tears of the Kingdom, I think I might cry.